BTN, 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 BTN.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Behind the Name Show. I'm your boy Boo Dilla.
And your boy Prince J. Ron.
What you pop locking do?
Yep.
We got a special guest in the building. This guy right here is one of the pillars of Chicago footwork culture. I mean, he supports every event. Watch and witness, man, in such cuz. That's his phrase.
In such.
In such cuz.
Got his own restaurant in Las Vegas.
You know what I mean?
You know I was gonna say it.
We got the one and only, my bro, Crossfire. What's going on and such, cuz?
Hey, what's the word and such, everybody? Humbled to be on here, man. Thank y'all for allowing me to be on here, to be on this great platform with a bunch of y'all great people and such. And yeah, man, I'm not really used to being interviewed because I'm the main guy mainly interviewing everyone else. So
it's your time.
It's your time. Indeed.
Yeah, I guess so, man. I guess so.
So I know it's been a journey, and so I want to first start off with your beginnings. Before it was Watch and Witness, what was your beginnings as far as getting you into culture, and when you saw Chicago footwork for the first time?
Man, honestly, it goes back to 2004. But the funny thing was, like, I didn't come from a dancing background. Like, of course, when I was young, like when I was like maybe in my teens, like in my preteens and all, like I heard the juke hour from like WGCI Power 92, from DJ Ferris to DJ Phantom to DJ Lil Jon. I used to, every now and then play juke out, but I didn't really pay attention to it till I was like 14 years old. So and I started out west, really west side, west suburb, because I used to stay on Madison and Austin, but I stayed on the Oak Park side, not on the city side. But we used to go to there was this funny ass party, and you're gonna laugh when I say it used to be called Club Bougie. I kid you not. And
Club Bougie?
Literally, G.
Club Bougie.
It was bougie. But that's where I witnessed footwork at. And it was up on it was not too far from the island. The island is on Roosevelt and Austin. It's that little piece of area they call that hood the island, but it was up on Roosevelt and I think Highland, so it's like a few blocks down. And that's where I witnessed footwork at. Like I witnessed it in an underground format, just random cats from the hood just footworking. And I was just like in amaze, like, what is this, man? Like, jaw drop, like, gee, this shit is so cold. Like, oh my fucking God. I never experienced nothing like that. The energy, the atmosphere, the impact it brought to me. And I've been hooked ever since. And that was also the same time I also got more hooked to the tracks, like that from the Get Down Little Mamas to the drop it. And the Bounce and Break Your Backs, and Bounce was being played so heavy around that year. Oh my God, by Clint. That damn Bounce. That really brought the whole party out. Like, everybody, party, juke, footwork, they did everything all in one love song off that track. That's how busting that track was at the time. So then 3 years, because I was a spectator, I was kind of afraid to footwork at the time, because I wasn't good at it, and and I didn't know what talent that I had at the time as well too, because I was trying to find something to do to suppress whatever, depression issues that I had while I was in school and all that. So I linked up with my guy Antoine. We called him Mirage, and he was the one that encouraged me to footwork. This was 2007, because when he started footwork, he started in June of 2007. Then he encouraged me to do it, and then officially I started footworking in July of 2007. So now where Crossfire came from, uh, when I was footworking, I crossed my foot a lot. So I did a lot of cross moves. And
But
then
who was one of your teachers?
I ain't had no teachers. I was self-taught. I learned I learned amongst the people that I was around. So I ain't had no teacher except the people that I was around. So we was all had to learn on our own. It's like either we had each other or we had the streets to learn. We didn't really have like no legends or nothing like that. Like the generation I come from is like uh, the people that knew how to football, they ain't had no less like that unless you was in a certain group.
Right.
So
Mm.
like if you was in TS, then that was access to wolf packs, the lunatics and all that. Or if someone was havoc or even creation, that's access to HOC and panic and all them. If you was 187, that's technically you're just a new generation 187, but you still had letters like Kwanzaa, Bobby, Beans, DB, Nick, you know, and then so on and so forth. But all the other new groups, from what I remember, it was like we either had each other learning or we had the streets. So it was amongst the people that learned. Like me and Mirage, we learned from each other. Like, and this was also around the time when YouTube was so young. Like that's when Bishop was hot. My boy Bishop from L Town, like he was the hottest thing going. And that was also around the same time I got introduced to Wallacam, Lil Joe the Booker, and things.
Lil Joe
shout
the
out,
Booker.
shout out my boy Lil Joe, man. He in Thailand being a MMA fighter, man. Salutes to
Right.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kickboxing. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that was around the time like videography was starting to be more of a stronghold within the third generation of footworking of where I came in at. So while at the same time, believe it or not, about 2 months after I started footworking, that's when I picked up a camera and started recording. So yeah,
What made you want to do that?
record. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I were to take a wild guess, like we got so hooked in watching YouTube videos because that's when the Warzone was booming from Wallace Basement. And that's when I saw A Cold Summer Will Bring Havoc, which was Havoc versus Below Zero of '07. That bitch was so cold. And that's how I also got introduced to footwork on the South Side quickly. Because when I started, I knew a footwork out west heavy. Because it was 187, Heat Squad. A plus wasn't around yet. Not yet. It was still that's the main groups I heard. Heat Squad A plus heavy. And then when I saw the Warzone, that's when I got introduced to the South Side, which was, of course, Havoc, Below Zero, Terror Squad, and Creation. Like those were the main four groups that I heard when I was introduced to folk on the South, thanks to Wallacam. Especially when the Terror era, or the Terror invasion came. My bad, the Terror invasion came. So that was. I was like, man, I was just mind blown. It's like, man, I can't compete with these because y'all motherfuckers some beasts, G. Like, I'm like, oh my God, man. And just the uniqueness, the expressions, and the styles was just mind blowing. And it's like, you just sit there and it's like, man, how can I compete with this, man? And but I still didn't let that stop me from doing what I love to do and what I wanted to do, because it's like I had to find an outlet. So this what became my platform. So seeing after that, man, like I don't know. As far as picking up a camera, maybe Walla has some type of influence because he was the only one doing it and Little Joe at the time. So maybe that's what made me pick it up. And I started Crossfire's Watch and Witness footwork stories. Now that's where I got Mr. Watch and Witness from my footwork stories. But I wasn't called Crossfire, aka Mr. Watch and Witness. I was just called Crossfire. So I didn't add other moniker Mr. Watch and Witness to like 2010. So that's how it became that.
Well, I know one thing. With you picking up the camera, started some critical in the culture, whereas you captured so many legendary battles and epic moments in the culture for the world to see.
Oh, what's funny is, hold on.
They actually
Right here, this is my camera that I use for my humble beginnings. It was this very camera, this old little Canon. This is what got me started.
I know they used to bug you. They used to bug you so much. You know what I'm saying? Like once he filmed and they started knowing that Crossfire was filming the events. Like
hold that thought, because that was much later in the years, but
yeah, I'm about to say
hold that thought.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that was a little bit later before he.
That was a little bit later.
Like that, you know.
Right.
That was later and such, but so you know, at that time when I started, you know, like I just started, you know, I started small. I started from the dirt because, you know, I came up with those from the dirt. You know, me and Mirage, we came from the dirt. We ain't had no teacher. We taught ourselves. We taught each other, and put ourselves out on videos and all that. Of course, we was ass, but hey, it is what it is. But we didn't give a fuck. We just wanted to let the world know, like, we coming. We finna be the next up and coming. You know, this was 07 and 08. And then by the time when I was recording, then one of my other guys, we had this dude from out west named Ace the Beast. That's what we used to call him. And his alias name was Boneless, because the way he footwork, he danced like he ain't had no bones. There's some crazy ass moves where it was like, this nigga ain't got no bones. And we was the trio back then. And then, you know, no, I take that back. Before then, I met BJ and Jason. You know, Jason, the one that records for the era. I met those two at the time. And I joined Jason's group. It was called Fahrenheit 99.
Fahrenheit 99.
That's a long name, bro.
Yeah. I remember that.
I could just imagine a DJ trying to make a track like Fahrenheit 99. like, ain't long.
Yeah, man. It was me, Mirage, BJ, and then Ace the Beast Bone, because he came around hanging out with us at the time. And that group didn't last long. Our first battle, from what I remember, was at Columbus Park at the Taste of Austin. That's when I met Kwanzi, Benny from 187, a whole bunch of other. I think I saw Priest from Heat Squad at the time there, Crip from Heat Squad, Moon and Ghost was probably there. This is from what I can remember at the top of my dome, but I just remember like it was just so mind blowing. Like we was forward to them Bucky boys. We didn't care. Like we forward to anything. We didn't give a damn if the Bucky boy play, but we'll still kick it.
Real quick for my international viewers. The Buggy Boys are the youth that plays on the like an actual bucket, and they just like drumming on it. So it's the sound of they usually play so they can get like money and stuff like that as far as donations. But Yeah, so we call him the drummer boy. So that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, the Buggy Boys, it was fast, so it's like it was almost at a footwork pace. So it was like it still gave us that momentum, but we ready to go ahead and get it in. Like fuck it, we didn't give a damn the baseline like that, but just and we just interacted with them. Like, the one thing that I've learned at that time was all influence of sounds could just make you go when you footwork. Like it don't even gotta just be a track. It just be like the Buggy Boys or you know the sound of just people just doing a little let's go across just just to feel like if you're in the mood to dance, you're in the mood to dance.
Mm-hmm.
So and Buggy Boys did that. So then after that, Fahrenheit didn't last long, so it's just me and Mirage once again as the dynamic duo, because that's what we used to call ourselves. It's the dynamic duo. Like whenever I came, Mirage came. Or whenever Mirage had event, I was there. And that's when I just started traveling. Like it was the beginning of my home beginnings. And then that's when I met Nate. I didn't know Nate stayed right around the corner because I used to stay on Madison and Austin. He stayed on Madison and Mason. That's one block over. So that's when I first heard of DJ Nate. And that's when I bought his CDs from Tax Chronicles 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So he had 5 mix albums. So then that was also around the time I started hearing DJ Solo. And the first album I got from Solo was Project Bust Down 3. That was the first album I ever got. And that, and then I had to go back. So I'm like, okay, Solo got Project Bust Down 3. Like, what about Project Bust Down 2? It won. I didn't hear them too much later in the years because 2 and 1 was very rare, but 3 was the most common album out where you could still get, like, I still got the CD somewhere. And me and Ravi used to practice right in my back porch on Madison and Austin. I lived on the second floor at the apartment. So we went downstairs. We literally took an extension cord from the kitchen and plugged it all the way down and plugged it to a radio, and we footwork to any juke CD that we had from Project Clint Mix CD to Project Bust Down 3 to Tax Chronicles 1 to motherfucking Nate early tracks before he released the mix albums, like all the little snippet albums and shit. Like we didn't care, like we was that hungry to just dance. Like it's just man. So fast forward a little bit because this is where tempo comes into the play. Well, I'm gonna go a little bit back. Then we went to the War Zone at Lake in California. That was the iconic War Zone ever, in my opinion. Lake in California. Man, look, when I tell you that bitch was so packed, that bitch was packed in that little ass building. I remember the day when it was Footwork Kings versus TS, and AG just joined Footwork Kings at that time. It was so packed in there that it was more people outside the building than it was inside. That's how packed it was that day of that wasn't. And this was 08. So I was like, oh my God, man, just the whole city just loved the footwork, man. And we was still the dynamic duo. We didn't have a group yet. So I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So that's when I met I think we called him Von the Don at the time. I forgot what his name is now, but that's how I remember him, man. And we was cool. We used to battle him on the side. We did all the side battles because we weren't in the like I said, when it came to circles, there was your beginners, there was the immediates, and then there was the elites. And that's how I remember the battles. I was in the beginners because I'm a newbie, I'm a new cat in the game. So, like I was humble enough, like I know my place. Even though I ain't had no teachers, no guidelines, no nothing, but it's like common sense. So I'm like, I can't compete against y'all. Like, y'all motherfucking problem. Shit. Y'all motherfucker torch me off the sucker. One round y'all give me, I'll walk off like y'all ain't gotta move, sucker. I'll just walk off. You feel me? So, so then Mirage stayed in River Forest. He stayed actually 1 block away from Maywood, literally. And we started practicing at his crib. And then that's when Bonley started hanging out with us again. And we formed Final Epic. So, and it was spelled with a PH, not with an F. So, and we had an old saying, sleep on us, you'll wake up in a nightmare. That was our slogan. Like every group had a slogan. Like I think we got that concept from Below Zero, like when they say below zero, we unique, no equal. So I was like, okay. So I was like, y'all sleep on us, you'll wake up in a nightmare. So we came up with that. And then fall of 2008, we meet Ari, aka Temple. Now,
was he at Creation then or
no,
he
he was with us. He was
Right.
with he was an original member of Final Epic with us when we all started. Actually, it started with us four. Now that I think about it, and he watched Mirage and watched us footworking, and he was the same way. Like he ain't had nobody, but he was very skilled. He was better than us, and he always say that he want to thank me because we thought, like, bro, we learned from you, bro. We learn more from you than you learn more from us, because he was really that gifted. Like that boy was a natural. And when he came around, he was always clean, but he was a little rough on the edges, but he was always clean. He was always on beat. So where he got the name Temple from was like, it's simple. He was always on beat. He always caught the tempo so fast. Like any track he heard, he just caught it off back. He ain't never heard a track. He just caught it off back. I was like, damn, this boy be on Temple. Now, fun fact, he didn't like the name at first. He hated that name. He did not like the name Tempo. He's like, bro, don't call me Tempo. I'm like, bro, that's your name, bro. It fits you.
Okay.
I told him this name is gonna stay with you forever. He did not like that name. Just call me Eric, bro. Just call me. I'm like, bro, ain't nobody call you Eric. Your name Tempo.
Hey, one thing in footwork, when you get that nickname, it's just stuck with you for life. It's stuck with you for life.
What's funny was when we introduced him, he was like, hey, this is our new member, Temple. It's like, no, just call me Air. Like, no, your name Temple. Bro, and he kept begging every footwork that he came out. Please don't call me that. Call me Air. I was like, no, your name's Temple. And then that's when my first actual video I ever did was Crossfire Presents Final Epic, and it introduced myself, Raj, Tempo, and Ace the Beast, aka Bones. It was just us four. So we had an official group at that time.
Dope.
The group lasted for about roughly a year. We did do nothing but practice a lot, like every day. Like we didn't give a fuck about school. Like we went to school, but we skipped homework. Like, man, fuck homework. I want to dance. Like my mama hated me going to Mirage crib and dance because I wasn't thinking about homework and all that. I'm like, bro, I want to footwork. I wanted to express, man, and we still had them CDs, man. We still had, and then we used to get tracks from MySpace, from LA to Track Assassin to Rock to Royal to RP Boo to just so many, man, because we were so mind boggled when we just heard all these artists' tracks. Me personally, I don't care what no one says. Third Generation was the best era to me when it came to tracks because it was diverse. You literally heard everybody's shit from Beatdown to Clown House to Violent Juice Squad DJs, to BOTC, to Track Killers, to any squad DJs or whatever. Like you heard them all. Like you heard them all, like no filter. Especially when I Meme was out at the time. If you don't know what I Meme is, I'm gonna break it down. I Meme is the original SoundCloud. I'm gonna leave it at that. So that's where you had all the footwork tracks on I Meme. Like all the tracks from DJ Peanut to D Block to DJ Larry, Young Tellum, Royal, man, it was so many. DJ Killer, DJ Killer E, DJ TY at the time before he became EQY.
Everybody.
Tracks, man, literally everybody. Like everybody. And even Bishop tracks. Shout out to my boy Bishop from L Town, man. The real Bishop, not Bishop from Bang City, but I'll get to that later. But yeah. But shout out Bishop from Bang City too. But yeah, 08 was really a build-up year as far as like still being for the dirt and talking to DJs. The first DJ that I met out south and linked up with was Young Tellum. Big shout out to Young Tellum. He does Young Tellum customs off of 55th and Austin now. And he doing great for himself, man. Man, and I started linking up with him and linking up with the city and met up with a whole bunch of other cats, like this group called 911, which is like an offshoot of Below Zero, in my opinion, because they all had that Below Zero.
Wait, you're naming a lot of groups that I haven't heard.
Bro,
that's because Crossfire been around, boy.
Oh my God.
That boy been around in the trenches.
Listen,
that ain't never
my story is different from everybody else, but when I say I came from the dirt, I came from the dirt. Like everything I came up in the culture as far as food was underground. Yeah. I didn't think, like honestly, I didn't get an exposure to like the big names till 2010, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like I was in the dirt, I was in the trenches, messing with a lot of unknown groups that y'all ain't never heard of, and you know. So, but let me, what's the word it says, cuz? Let me go back a little because I skipped the part. So, let me think. Yeah, so we linked up with 911. Me and Mirage as the dynamic duo again. We used to come at them and battle them a lot. I battled them. I bust my ass. I failed. You know, everybody falls, so you know what I'm saying. I feel funny as hell, whatever. But and then you know, Mirage, he became the talk of the town, so it still gave our group a buzz. So it was like underground group versus another underground battle click, you know. And then we came again and came again. And at the time we had DJ 6ix9ine. May he rest in peace, you know. He was a good DJ. He knew all the well-known DJs like Rashad and all them. But he was the main DJ at the spot at Crucial Image, and that was on 69th and Perry. So we was by the white walls, the white building, right off of 71st, going all the way out south just to come to the Crucial Image on 69th and Perry. And that's where we was linking up with Young Tellum Heavy. We was linking up with Toya. We was linking up with what's his name? J Rock the Don. So yeah, man. And Young Tellum was the first person to make us a personal track called Final Epic. He's really the only one. And we released it in 09. Yeah, we released it in 09. Like I did another video for Final Epic in 09. And then after we did that vid, no, we got new members. BJ joined us. Marvelous joined us. James joined us. We almost had Boogie from Nemesis joined us, but may he rest in peace as well too. And when we had like 6, 7 more members we was trying to recruit. There was somewhat of a dispute, and then the group just disbanded. So, and then after that, I joined around that time. That's when New Assassins was booming. Like I stuck with all underground groups. I didn't join no big groups. Never joined no big groups. I just stayed with groups that's coming up because I had that mindset of coming up from the dirt. Like I could have joined Havoc. I could have tried to join, Creation or whatever, but my mindset was on staying underground. Like I just wanted to just dance and just battle by any means. But when I joined NA taught me a lot. The biggest thing they also taught me is never be fearless of any group. Because truth be told, when New Assassin was being formed, like Ron from Creation used to literally battle them every day, damn near, wherever they had practice. And even when I joined, Ron was still there at the time. And to a degree, you could say Ron was somewhat of a teacher for us New Assassins. So when I came in, like Ron was teaching them to a degree. So it molded them and it gave them their own style still. It was like we took what we learned from Ron and I think Terror Squad from what they say. This is what I remember. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. Like I'm just going from what I remember because this been so many years. Like, whew.
Go back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, New Assassins, dang.
This was around the time when Positive Production was still booming.
I know. That's what I said. New Assassins, Positive Production. we hopping on Madonna tour around this time.
Yeah, man. Like people don't know about Positive Production. That was really another great platform for us footworkers too, from Havoc, Low Zero, Terror Squad, No Remorse, Animosity, Universal Animosity at the time, and just so many groups that we all knew. Taliban was heavy in effect at the time, and then they clicked up and did TOG. Now TOG was a click up. That's how I remember. That's how I completely remember it. When they clicked up, it was Taliban Animosity, and then that was also when A Plus was formed around that time, and then A Plus clicked up, and then it became the whole takeover game.
Yeah, and Positive Production. Positive Productions was something that was put together to highlight Chicago footwork crews online to give them exposure.
And I salute them. Shout out Barbara. Shout out all the Positive Production people, man. I keep in touch with them still every now and then when I see them. Like they remember me very well. They be like, because they still be watching my videos till this day. So they've been following my work ever since I started recording. And that was also around the time, like I said, I started doing Watch Your Witness footwork stories. And around that time that, we disbanded from Final Epic, that was around the time I did Volume 1 and Volume 2 of footwork stories. So when I joined New Assassins, we practiced at 40 Boy Crib, which is off of 82nd and Artesian. So, and that was his pop's crib. That's when I met C4. That's when I met, Icon, Batman. I call him Bat Boy because he be annoying as fuck. Wild Style, Barry, or BTG, Barry the Great. Everyone had to add the great at the time. Marlo, man, just there was a lot that I met. And as I said, the main thing I learned from them was never be fearless. Don't be afraid of no group. I don't give a fuck if it's just you versus 20 of them. Like, be fearless. You give them all. Because when I got blessed in, I literally had to battle the whole group by myself. I'm like, damn, man. I got to battle the whole group by myself. And I'm like, man, I only know Urkel Jerk. At the time, we called them 95. We didn't call them Urkel Jerks. So another thing that people fail to understand, like where we come from, like all the original terminologies, it was different for us. It was called architects, but we called them 95s. The same way if a person hit a ghost somewhere else, they'll call it hidden bangs. So we all had different terminologies generation wise. You know, it wasn't like, you know, the correct terminology, but it's like how I look at it, my standpoint is like, what's an original terminology when it's like, bro, there's too many sides of the spectrums that has a different terminology to what you hit when you footwork. That's just how I look at it. So yeah, man, this story's long. So you know, so at that time I joined them. Temple joined Nemesis. He wasn't creation yet, you know. But I do remember there was a lot of groups trying to get Temple to join. I think Terror Squad at one point, and I don't know about creation, but I just knew there was a lot of people like eyeing him. But he was always so cold, and he always had fast feet. Fast feet. I was like, bro, because there was a point in time he didn't know how to slow down until he joined creation. But we'll get to that a little later, because this is where I started getting exposure. And this was the year of '09.
Mm.
You know, so then I linked up with my guy Lil Chris. Not Lil Chris Taliban, but we called him Lil Chris out west because that's what they called him out west, you know, Lil Chris. So there was another Lil Chris out west. And he knew how to footwork. He had a group called Armageddon. So, you know, Armageddon was another West Side group. It was a branch of Young Prince Squad, YPS. So it was basically like the newer members of YPS, and they split from them and did their own thing. And they had a spot at Galewood Park. And that's where Mikey comes in too, because that's when I also met Mikey that is now with House of Works. And Mikey came from Armageddon. So, and I used to watch vids from them. Like that's how I discover a lot of groups through YouTube. Lucas had a YouTube channel called Armageddon. So I linked up with them at Devontae crib off of Hirsch and Menard. And this was around the track when I was starting getting hella tracks and all that. Back with Yahoo Instant Messenger was booming. We used to trade tracks back.
Y'all sending tracks through the instant message. See.
Yep. Hey, I had to spill the beans, bro. That's how we got them. It got leaked through them back in the days when we kept that quiet for a long period of time. So Instant Messenger and Skype.
Good to know.
Did they feel by the check records?
Hey, that was way back when, man. That shit don't exist no more.
I know, right?
That shit is obsolete. So after that, we linked up with Lil Chris and all that. And you know, he knew who I was. I knew who he was. So we clicked. We was cool right after that. Even though he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing. And I was still in Atlanta at the time. I still went to practice whenever I can, but when it was this one fateful day, he came up with an idea of doing an event out west at Galewood Park. And he was like, hey, bro, you want to come work, want to collab? Like, me and him collab and post some videos. I was like, sure, what, you know, that's cool with me, you know. So then we created the event called Mayhem City, or the MC. So we called the Mayhem City event. And it was from 5 to 7 because we was at Galewood Park. So we had a park district. So, you know, they had to close a certain hour. And that's when I started posting vids after vids after vids after vids after vids after vids at that very spot. And it gained attention from the most legendary DJ, which he lives forever, DJ Rashad. That's when he caught his attention through me and him. So around that time, that's when we went to BG's, and that's when my boy BJ called out AG. And I recorded that because he came to my crib. He's like, I want you to call me. I'm calling AG out. I was like, okay. So it's still on my YouTube. It's still on my YouTube to this day when he called AG out. Man, look, the reactions were so funny on the YouTube comments. Like, this nigga, like, no, like, listen, YouTube is the original Panic Room BG's page, literally. Whatever you posted on YouTube, the response is ridiculous because YouTube was so heavy. It was like, that's how you find out a whole bunch of stuff that was going on. So when BG called AG out, that's when we first went to Battlegrounds. And that was 09. That was winter of 09, going on 2010. So that's also when I first, no, I take that back. Honestly, when y'all did that Forward Kings event, when it was DJ versus DJ, Spin versus Rashad, that one Forward Kings event, that's when.
When was, I forgot, when was that?
That was 08. Because that's when I first, he had that big ass mink coat on. That's when I first met Rash.
That's like 08.
Yeah, that's 08. But I linked up with him again in 09 at BG's. And that vid is still up to this day. And, you know, man, everybody was laughing hard at BJ, man, when he first came in that door. Like, this nigga gonna battle, like, bro, waste of fucking time. Like, really? Like, no. Like, Q came at him. That's when I also met Wolfpack. Q came at BJ. Darion came at BJ. Pooh came at BJ. And then AG was there. So I recorded both part 1 and part 2. They first battled in the front. And BG's at the time was on the other side of 87, right next to that Harris before it got shut down and it became that big lot. And before it went to the back on the original side, it was on the other side of 87, but it was still on East End. Like right next door was that old Harold's, and then it was the BG spot. And that was also around the time when Goon Squad took over that spot as a practice spot. But yeah, man, it was a hectic night. That's when I first met Rash. It was a very, very great night, man. And you know, he commended me. You know, he kept asking, like, bro, when you doing the next Mayhem City event? I'm like, how the fuck you know about the man? Like, bro, I've been watching you, bro. You been doing your thing, but like, you do your thing, cuz. I'm like, this man was so humble, man. Like, I came all the way from out west. He literally took me all the way back home out west, and he stayed out south. So I was like, hey, man, I commend him for just taking me home like a kid that's just trying to come up in the world and just trying to make an impact. Because, you know, like I said, I just came from underground. Like, I like seeing other underground foot workers get their shine. But at the time, I wasn't even thinking of that. It's like, that's just who I focused on. Because it's like, I already know, like, y'all heavy hitters going to get the limelight, but I'm more focused on those that's never got that chance. Like, that's where I came in. So.
And them videos you used to post, man, definitely gave a lot of people recognition.
Yeah,
it did, especially for new people to come that's now heavy hitters. Like, I never thought that some of these people that I record that was once upon a time was not so cold now are heavy hitters now. And I wasn't thinking about their potential, but I just felt that, you know, the ones that's not on the limelight, they deserve to be seen. And then I came up with a saying: as of 2018, I was like, you know what, man? Everybody deserves to be seen, even the weak ones. And the reason why I say that is because the ones that is so-called weak right now, they can now look back of how far have they become to where they are now. Like, damn, bro. Like they could just look back of their humble beginnings and all the way to their present time of like, man, I'm a beast, but man, I was ass back there. But look at the progress. You know, it's the progress. And I
Yeah.
think that's what I did. I gave those that don't have a voice a platform. I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck how weak you is. Like, be out there. That's just how I felt. Like, be out there. Because eventually someone's gonna pay attention to you. Just the same way someone paid attention to me when I was in the dirt, when I was in the trenches, when I was just sticking with the underground and working my way up like everybody else.
Being consistent. That's what it takes.
Being consistent. It's all about the journey, though.
Man, the journeys was the best,
The
man.
journey of
Especially
what is it? That's what it's
the
at.
journey was the best years because people don't know this. Like I was broke. I ain't had no money to go. Like I was relying on this camera and my mom's 30-day just to get to any event that I could muster. Like I was a daredevil.
So
Like,
for the people that's overseas, a 30-day is it's a bus pass, but you can use it for 30 days. You can use it for a whole month. Unlimited rides for that whole month. Go ahead.
Unlimited rides.
So, and you know, like I was gonna throw this camera. I was like, no, I'm gonna keep this because this is my history here. This is what made who Crossfire Watch and Witness is today. This is where I recorded my first original footwear stories. This is where I recorded all my Mayhem City events. This is where I recorded BJ versus AG at Battlegrounds. Like this is also where when I recorded EB versus AG for the money. So like this is my humble beginnings off this camera. So I've been keeping it ever since. So yeah, man. But it was 2010 when I didn't know that all the footballers love what I did, but I must tell this story and I must make this clear too. That's around the time like I had my other camera, but it was 57th and Claremont War Zone. This was 2010. And I'm not gonna lie, I recorded a few battles from there. And that was when I got banned from the war zone that year. Because Wilder didn't like the fact that, you know.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I remember that.
Yep.
I was like, how you get banned from the war?
I remember that.
But
I remember that.
But here's the thing though, because that I was recording at the event. But the funny thing was, it was already other people recording at these events anyway, from the fifth cities all the way to the end. So,
but they wasn't you. That's why.
Right. I was about to say I had a camera recorded.
Yeah, they wasn't you, because at that time, you was bubbling. Like you like people was waiting on your footage.
That's the funny thing. I didn't know, like literally all the DJs on Fours was pissed. And I'm like, they weren't pissed at me. They was like, how can you ban Cross? Like, and I didn't know I had that impact on people. Like I literally didn't, because like I said, I was working my way up. I didn't think I was like I'm in the epitome, like I'm well known.
That's why you gotta open them ears. You never know who's watching.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm a persistent walking time bomb. Like I don't be thinking. I just do what I feel is right for the culture. That's just how I move. You know, it's not intentional that, and you know, I started to do that after I got banned, But then I just went back to my normal source. I went back to the streets, and I still did my travels. I still find whatever footwork event that I could muster that was available, especially from the Clarendon Park events that Mad Dog was throwing.
Mm.
Uh, and just and just still work and just kept working, posting video after video after video after video after video. And then I started recording at BG's. It was constant. Sometimes I post 2 videos at once in a day.
Yep.
And like I said, like I ain't had no money. It was like I had nothing but time on my hands. So, and keep in mind, like I didn't think I would be gifted in doing this. And I didn't think it would bring impact because, like I said, all I wanted to do, and that's what's also around the year when I started recording the big shots. But I always had that mindset, like I want to focus on the newer cats, like the newer faces. That's also when I met my boy Mouse from TOG. I met him in 2010, and I met him at River Oaks Mall, and that's when I recorded him versus Martian, and like I was literally doing some regular street shit, just record new footworkers anywhere. I didn't care where it was at. I don't give a fuck if y'all battle at a stoplight. They battle at a mall. Like I went to that original roots because it's like, bro, I'm from that era. Like we battle anywhere. We didn't give a fuck about an event. If we was battling at a stoplight, it was on site at a battle at a stoplight. Here's what it is. Like you had to be prepped and prepared and such. Like at all times.
All times.
It was almost to a point. It was to a point you literally had to have a pair of extra shoes in your backpack, no matter where you go, especially on the weekends. I'm like, man, I better give me a pair of shoes because someone gonna battle me if someone spot me. When you put your shoes on, you battle. Like that was that. And sometimes if someone randomly had a camera, you'd be recorded. And this was way before Androids and the Blueberries and the iPhones was in full effect. It was just
Like you
strictly
said, blueberry.
Hey, you better
You sound
respect
like an old
Blackberry.
man.
Hey, you better respect Blackberry. Oh, Team Blackberry to the death.
hey,
Blueberry.
this was the original iPhone, the original Facebook Live, all that, man. Like
Yeah.
I swear to God, man. My bad if I said blue, but I meant Blackberries. My bad. But
No,
Man, dude.
so
Yeah.
it's like
oh,
it's just amazing that I look back and I didn't think that I had that impact on all forwards. And it's like I feel I did my work properly for the culture, like work my way up instead of me being the big head, like, yeah, I'm that nigga woo. I didn't think like that. I was like, let me work my way up. You feel me? Because there was a lot of cats at the time that was like think they was here, but really they was way down here. True story.
Yeah.
But I let them be like, okay, you do what you want and such. Like, that's your fucking problem. But me, I'm gonna do this the right way. And yeah, I had my little hiccups, but you do things without understanding at first, and then you learn from them. And then you manifest and you grow from it. And that's what I did. I'm not perfect. I mean, I ain't everything I did wasn't great. And and I stand on that. And I'm not afraid to admit it neither. You know, everyone's got skeletons in their closet. And I know I got mine, but do I regret everything I did as far as where it led to me now? Hell no. Not one bit. Because and still to this day, like any new footworker that's out, like I'll record them, even if they weak as fuck, because they deserve to be seen too. And they could look back from 5-10 years from now, be like, if they could, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone said this. If anybody believed in me, it was me, because he saw the potential in me that I didn't see in myself, and that I gave the people a fair shot. And that's what I believe in. Like everyone deserves a fair shot, man. You can't just kick a person to the curb just because they're not that good. Like, hey, bro, you gotta crawl before you walk, and you gotta walk before you run. That's everything that you do when you learn this culture. Like, I had to crawl to learn how to use the camera, just the same way I had to crawl to learn how to footwork. I had to crawl before I walk making tracks. So, and this is me just talking about my beginnings in a camera standpoint before me making tracks. Footwork, like I said, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the coldest footworker, and I don't care about being the coldest. Like, I don't care about titlement. I care about my character and how I conduct myself in this culture, because I think that holds more value for the fact that when you conduct yourself of who you are, regardless of if you're good or not, I think it brings great gravitation to people, because you mean no harm and you trying to bring a good impact not only for yourself but for everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I always tell people it's more to footwork than just kicking a leg. It's more to footwork than just how many motherfuckers you done burn. Because everything I done did is like I done had more great opportunities than any cold footworker combined. And I'm not the coldest footworker out here. So I'm doing something right. It's how I conduct myself. And how I try to uplift others, man. And and that's just how I always been in this culture. Like, I don't try to bring people down. Unless you try to bring me down, then I'm gonna come at you.
Them characteristics, boy.
Hey, I'll put it to you like this. They don't call me Mr. Watcher Winners for nothing. Cause I know the ins and outs of this culture. It's like, bro, you don't want to say nothing, G. So, and I don't get in people's business, but if you put my name in, you're making it my business. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Look, some of these individuals that been in the culture longer than you don't even know history like you do. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why I told you I had posted on Facebook that you was a pillar to Chicago footwear culture, because a lot of individuals don't have the history. You know what I mean? They was there, but they was just dancing. That was it. You know what I mean? It was no one trying to learn, you know, where did it come from? You know what I mean? This dance group history, that dance group history. You know what I mean? Like, people are just now like learning from us. You know what I mean? From the show, like, you know what I mean? They just actually sitting back and they're like, man, I didn't know Phase Two House of Man. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that this name was doing this. I didn't know that they was, you know what I mean? Like, so like everybody is actually learning all over again, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And as it should be, like, from the episode ones to all the way to episode 38 right now, I done learned even more. It's more detailed for me because I've interviewed a lot of these great people. Well, not like no Ronnie Sloan. Well, I've interviewed Ronnie Sloan, but I never interviewed David and Dave. I never interviewed a whole bunch of these great legends that y'all interviewed. And it's like, wow, so many great people that I never got a chance to interview. And I just love to soak all that info, the same way of how I've interviewed Jerron, I've interviewed Solo, I've interviewed J Dot, I interviewed Nate and Pooh, I've interviewed J Rock from Wolfpack, I've interviewed RP, Trax Man, 40 Boy when I first started, just a lot of footworkers and DJs, and just soak up information. And as I've said before, understand all perceptions from each spectrum of the culture within the city, not just strictly West Side, or all strictly South Side, or all strictly over East or up North or the South Suburbs. Like, bro, I'm molding it as a whole, not just as one, as all separate spectrums. Like,
Not biased.
Exactly.
I'm not biased, and I try not to be. It's like I try to understand both perspectives, which I must say this. And people may disagree with me on this, but I don't give no fuck. There's no such thing as real footwork. That's why I say. That's why I say there's no such thing as real footwork. It's too many perspectives. How can you say what's real footwork and what ain't? That's impossible. That is impossible. Here's a prime example. Clown House versus Beatdown. There was a lot of people that literally said, man, all the Clown House tracks is the real footwork tracks. And then on the other side, man, all the Beatdown tracks is the real Beatdown track. Same with Tech Life. Man, all the tracks of Tech Life, the real Tech Life, real footwork tracks. I'm like, bro, that's just your perception. I don't mean it's real for everybody, everyone else. So how can you say that's real footwork? It's real footwork to you in your eyes, but as a whole, there's no such thing as real footwork. It's just footwork. It's just a culture, you know. It's
So
a culture.
as long as you kick your feet, that's real footwork.
As long as footwork exists in you, that's real footwork. That's real footwork. It ain't got shit to do with the music. It ain't got shit to do with you dancing. It's about, do you love doing this shit? It ain't got shit to do with none of that. So for any motherfucker that say, man, this is a real footwork style over here, I'm like, bro, that's your perception. That's not real footwork. It's a infinite debate. Period, point blank. If people disagree, I'm like, bro, you lying to yourself already if you disagree. I'll tell you that right now.
So you feel that every dance style is considered footwork. Well, not every dance style, but let's just say you got top rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have similar things as far as like Chicago. I mean, I said Chicago. Footwork in top rock. So I feel what you're saying is that you can't you have to title it like Chicago footwork or top rock. You have to put it in a category, because then if you don't put it in a category and people don't know the fundamentals of the structure of Chicago footwork, then they are just in a circle, just kicking their legs.
Now let me also make this clear. The biggest mistake as far as myself, I never understood foundations, but let me make this clear. Every dance has foundations, from b-boying, crumping, tut, pop lock, whatever. It all has that. But I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna give a quick gem that Jerron taught me 10 years ago, and I want all y'all overseas cats to learn this and remember this wholeheartedly. And it's called find your character. Now, Jerron broke it down. What the fuck? Never mind. That was my watch. I'm sorry. Now, Jerron told me a story of how Jerron became who Jerron is now. And to sum it up, he took every characteristics that he liked from another footworker and put it as his own. So he told me about Steve-O, because keep in mind, Steve-O never taught Jerron, but there was a characteristic that Steve-O liked, that there was a characteristic that Jerron liked from Steve-O that he took and made it his own style. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, you need to, so for all overseas and any new coming forward, you got to find your own identity of who are you. What makes, for example, what makes Mickey Mickey? Right. What made Mouse Mouse? What made Jerron? Like, you got to find your own character. And when you find your own character, that's when you create your own style of footwork. Right. You got to find your character. You got to find yourself. And same way with making music, because that's what molds myself. Like, I took characteristics from people I learned from, my homie Phil, to Manny, to RP, to Clint, to Rashad, to Rose, to Solo, like almost to a point where, like, purposely I can mimic you, but I also know how to make it myself, because I took a characteristic and made it my own, to where I'm molding it to where it identifies of who I am.
Right.
And that also applies with dancing. So, and influence come from anywhere. Like how, like I remember how Ace say that his style comes from watching cartoons and all the animation. That's how Ace danced, how he danced. The influence came from watching television. It's like you gotta look at the world of all spectrums. The whole world is your influence. You just gotta take that characteristic and apply it for yourself.
Right.
And it's the same way of how I did it when it came to me recording videos. Because people find it odd when I used to record, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like, like people thought that was weird, but it was like, no, bro, this is what I am because that's how I'm doing. Like, I'm a fan of this culture too. And sometimes there's been people that personally inbox me saying, like, when I react that way, it makes them feel like they're actually there, even though they're not there. Like, I'm taking the whole world on the journey with me as I record these videos. Same way I'm taking the world on the journey with me when I make my tracks. And maybe to some degree, maybe I'm taking the people on the journey with me when I footwork. Like maybe that's what identifies myself like as watching witness. Like I want you to experience this road with me and have a good time have a good time. Like don't worry about getting burned and all the other unnecessary. Like bro, just have a good time, man. Enjoy this ride and soak it all in with open arms, especially if you're around me. Like it's all open arms for me. Like, I don't give a fuck if you cold or weak, all open arms. But
I'm glad you explained that because I didn't want people to feel, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of individuals that watch and that's online right now. I didn't want them to take it that way. I didn't want them to take it to the point where they feel like, oh, well, I can create your own, but forget about foundation and structure. You know what I'm saying? Because even though J-Ron,
I was about to say something. I was gonna say because it wasn't it wasn't for a literal sense.
right,
It was about building the character. So for the same way somebody else can do the irk and jerk, and somebody else may do it their own way of doing the irk and jerk. Some people can point to person A and be like, "That's the way to do
that's
it." Person
right,
B ain't that ain't footwork because person B not doing it the same way person A. No, you know what I'm saying, and that's what a lot of people have done in the culture. Whereas if everybody not doing it your way, then it's not the way.
and
And it's
that's
always
why I
about building
say
your character because it ain't no one way to do it.
never. It's infinite ways, but always know there's always foundation.
right.
And that's why I also say there's no such thing as real footwork because real footwork is do you love doing it? As long as you understand the foundations, the morals, the conduct, and staying true to yourself, that's real enough. I don't give a fuck what no one says. Like, I don't give a damn if you learn a move from watching Spider-Man, but I see fundamentals in it. You just hitting Spider-Man moves to some in some way, but it's like I still see you footworking. You know
Right.
what I mean? You just made that Spider-Man your style. You know
Exactly.
what I
Right.
mean?
Right. And that's not right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a perfect way to explain. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Shout out to the Footwork Bible.
you know what I mean? That's a perfect way to explain. You know what I'm saying? Different ways and different ways and different varieties of movement that you can do certain moves. You know what I'm saying? Like you can, you know what I mean? It's a certain, J Ron be proving it all the time. You know what I'm saying? There's so many
I
different
need to address this too. I'm 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 super tired of people saying they need to hit their own shit, but when they hit their own shit, then they clown them. Like I hate that. I'm so tired of that. It's like the culture is contradicting themselves. Like stop it.
a lot of but you know what though? I feel like what I feel like the culture is kind of
Wait. I gotta say something. Sorry.
uh
That goes back to character and foundation
foundation.
in the
Yep.
Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if you got real foundation and character, that don't matter.
That's true.
Having the stuff that was left at when I was doing it became the norm. doing long combos to the right and long combos to the left, at the time was laughed at, and now it's the norm.
Yep.
But regardless of what people said, I still stayed on my foundation.
But also too,
Make
though,
them adjust to you.
but also too, what I feel like a lot of people are missing is, and we discussed this before, me and you, Jay. A lot of people is not dancing from the soul. They dancing with steps. It's just steps. That's all it is. If you can literally look at
dance with a purpose.
May I intervene? I say
dance with steps.
I think it takes time. It's like I said, you're finding yourself. When you find yourself, that's when you also dance from the soul. It's like I said, you got to crawl before you walk. That's everybody. So
right.
you can't force that on them. There are some that are naturally gifted at it, but then you got some that needs a little bit of work, and it takes time. Like, it took time for me to get pretty decent at footwork, but part of that helped.
Yeah.
Part of that helped me was just me listening to the tracks and just making it like this is normal for me. And then it's like when I started dancing to them or any new track that I hear, it's like it's a natural feel that I just dance from the soul of whatever I'm hearing. You know, like any track that's played. Like, I remember when Phil came to my crib, and before it got released on Next Life, he played God's House in my crib. I never heard that track. It was brand new at the time. And instantly, it was me against Grills. And instantly, I just caught it. Because it's like, I just listened to tracks so much, it's like, it became third nature.
But look, also too, because we were discussing this too, certain events, you don't spaz out at. Like, certain events, you'll just be there, you support, you know what I'm saying? You get to dancing, things of that nature. But like, if it's a certain DJ that's there, like, it changed the whole energy of the party. You know what I'm saying? So feel that track to you made you come out of your element. You start feeling soulful. You know what I'm saying? Listening to that. You know what I mean? Because that's what your sound, your ears want to hear. You know what I'm saying? But like, certain people don't. I know certain parties, for me, I can't get off to. I'm gonna be honest. Certain DJs can't move me how another DJ can.
You know, that's fine. That's fine. That is definitely fine. Because, like I said, this is why I say this nonsense, because it's like, what's real to you may not be real to others. Like, right. How it may move you may not move others. How it may move them may not move you. It's like, it's all the yin and the yang, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's real.
It's right.
It's a matter of, how do you feel when you hear it? Does it make you want to move? Does it make you want to jack your body and swing and take off or take flight or show them the flame? You know what I mean? So some people may be diverse, like they like all music. Like, it just, like, they give it a shot, because at the end of the day, man, people not gonna live forever. We gotta give new people a chance. That's why I have that mindset for new track makers, new DJs, and new footworkers, and new cameraman. Like, shout out Polar Bear Red. Like, I'm happy that these cats
Polar Bear.
You gotta give these people a chance, and eventually we're gonna start feeling them too, because we're gonna understand, like, they doing it from the soul, and they take this shit wholeheartedly. The same way how people didn't like me when I first came in, they was the exact same way of what you're saying now, Boo. Literally, it was like, who the fuck is this new nigga here? Like, that was my, like, people didn't want to fuck with me like that. I kid you.
And then it got to a point where
then it got normal.
Hey, when you gonna?
Hey, but that's,
we gonna put the video, bro.
Hey, Cross, I kid you not. So how you was feeling then, and now people are like, What's going on? La, 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 right? That's how I feel about our dancing group because
See?
nobody liked us.
See?
And
See?
now everybody messages. I'm linking up with people that, you know what I'm saying, that was our rivals. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's man, bro.
Exactly, bro. So
Right.
like that's just how it is. Like I had to shed light on that, man. Like I was waiting for the right time to say this because I like y'all really need to understand, bro. Like it's just a yin and a yang, but it can't be no bad without no good, but it can't be no good without no bad. It's all full cycle, bro. You know, but it still creates a great impact where it's like, you know what, eventually, hey, they may not like you now, but also understand you may be ahead of your time and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
The
That's why
bigger picture.
Yeah.
that's why I
Yep.
respect that's why I respect all the underdogs like my boy Breezy, even though they be talking about him because he's stiff, but it's like, bro, y'all don't understand. I understand fast. That's his style now. Like he used it to his advantage. He knows he's stiff, but he made it look cold in my eyes. Another example, my homie Mouse. Mouse is lanky, but he used it to his leverage as his advantage and made it cold. That's another thing that forwards got to
Facts.
also understand. Like there's forwards that are literally bow-legged, but they made it to a style like it became normal for them. Like they use what is their weakness, like their body advantage. Like if they know they bow-legged, then they use what they had while being a bow-legged footworker and made it look cold. If you know that you're stiff, you use that to your advantage and just make it look cold. Like even that alone creates a character. Like knowing your body. How do you stand? How do you walk? How do you talk? How do you express your arms? How do you move? How do you groove? How do you glide? You know, all that whole nine based on your body structure. Another example, like for the Buddha, you work out right now, you're bulky. So now you gotta use that to your advantage. How do you gonna move while you're a bulky, small motherfucker? You feel me?
Hey,
So
I hear you, Cross.
Or everything.
no, so
Cross
another
dropping pages right now.
another example. Another example. Look at motherfucking J Rock. He more swole than you. No one looking at him like, bro, how the fuck do you move when you that swole? God damn it. P top, big motherfucker, but he moved like he Jerron size damn near. Big boy,
Mhm.
big motherfucker, but he moved like a regular nigga. Like it's all that, man. You gotta also understand your body. That also creates character too because you're understanding your body structure.
And your
It's
soul.
You know, so
and your soul,
let
man.
me let me interject for a minute. If y'all got questions for Crossfire, please type them. Please, 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 because that's what we're about to go into in a couple of minutes. We're about to go into questions for Cross. Um, before we go into questions, we always do the segment, Chicago Forest saved my life. You know what I'm saying? And want to, tell us a brief short story, you know what I'm saying, how, you felt like Chicago Forest saved your life.
Since you say brief, man, I'm gonna give a brief too. And this is actually personal for me because the first one is very personal because it's no secret I'm suicidal. So uh it was 2 years ago. I thought about killing myself, and at that time I was in the basement and I was working on this track, and I started it. I'm gonna put it like this: it saved my ass. It really did save my. It really did save me from even luring me to harm myself that night. And it's on SoundCloud, and it's called "If I Never Made a Track." And there's a story behind that because it was kind of like a letter of this could be my last track before I ever kill myself. But Thank God I didn't do it, but the after effect of that was, um, nigga.
All right, bro.
But you say, nigga. So after that, man, I didn't make a track for a year. I made that track in 2019, but man, I ain't gonna lie. When I made that track, I went crazy, but my mind was not really thinking till like days after. It's like I didn't know how much impact I put on that track until maybe years later. Not years later, but like months later. Like, damn, I went crazy. And then another story that's, like I said, like at one point in time, this culture really kept the hoods together. And this was when Tough was made in 2011. So I took the 79th Street bus. I linked up with my homie Mook, and then I linked up with Ken from TS. And we was
Mm-hmm.
gonna go to 87th and Hermitage. And we linked up with like 5 dudes. We was like on 84th and Hermitage. They squared, they squad up against us, and they was like, wait a minute, you going to that event up on 87th? Like, yeah. All right, y'all good, y'all can walk. I was like, oh my God, I thought we was gonna get jumped. We was gonna get shot. Like, they was ready to J down on us or shoot us down or whatever. It was like, man, look, I'm not trying to get my ass whooped tonight, man. I just try to go to this event. But it's amazing that how the people in the hood knew about footwork events still at that time. And this was 2011. So that's how I was like, you know what, man, it's amazing that how people, the hood still respected us as dancers, as footwork. Like we're not on that. Like even if you was from a op neighborhood, like they'll still give you a pass because it was just like, oh, he's just dancing, bro. He ain't on that, man. Like let him go. You know, like I wish the world could just really witness like how much of an impact footwork can really be like in. I feel in my heart like this culture could have one time at one point really brought unity amongst the whole community, like everywhere, from the west side to the south side and up north and to the south suburbs. Like how I went on low at Jerron crib and how everybody in the Shy Heights on the east side still respects, you know, what Jerron did, like, made the East Side High such a shed of light. Like I felt that impact of when we footwork in Chicago alone or throughout the whole city and burbs. Like I think it could shine a light in our own city, but we gotta let go of them egos and all that, and
think
hidden agendas.
I think it is. I think it is bringing unity.
Yeah.
I'm saying now than it was in the back in the years. You know what I'm saying? Because like you seeing more kids like you know what I mean? Like it's different. It's different. Like even when we had events every weekend. Just imagine the kids right now having events every weekend. You know what I'm saying? So it's I feel like now it's just it kind of changed the whole culture where now it's worldwide now. It's not just local. It's not just Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You got it everywhere
I'm
now.
glad I'm glad you said that, and I'm also want to address this to all my Chicagoans. Quit coming at overseas. Leave them alone. I'm dead ass serious. Leave them alone, man. Because regardless of it being globally worldwide, and we of course we want to teach them and give them what they know, but it's like you got to let these cats footwork how they are going to understand footwork. We got to. We have to respect it because as long as they know where it comes from, the foundation. Like I have no ill will against nobody overseas. As long as you respect the foundation and where it comes from, I ain't got nothing against you. But if you turn into something that it ain't, we got problems. But other than that, if it's no ill will, then I ain't got nothing against you. That's just
Mhm.
how I feel. Like, you know, and of course Chicago's gonna have that reaction that footwork is global. I'm like, I would tell my city, like, y'all late by 6 years, 10 actually. Like, footwork's been global since 2010, really 2008 if you count the Madonna tour. That's what really kicked it off. But on the music tip, 2010. And I
Mhm.
was there, and I was there, and I saw it all, and I saw what transpired to be. And it's like, these cats in LA, Arizona, India, uh, England, France, Germany, Japan, Korea, they gonna understand it how they gonna understand it. But of course, if they want them out, they know who to reach. And, like I said, we give them what they know, but they gotta take it upon themselves and mold it upon themselves on, how they could push the culture in their own way. Like, true
Right.
story.
Let's get into these questions, man. I know we kind of running over time.
Yeah, I told you it was gonna be a long one. It's such.
Hey, hey, you
Cool.
dropping them jewels and them
Yeah,
diamonds,
it's cool
boy.
though.
Hey,
Cool.
Hell yeah, man. I had to say it. I've been holding it for so long, and this was the right
So
time to say it.
we got a question from Matt. Um, when did you first meet RP Boo? And your 2012 interview of him is one of my favorite videos on the internet.
Oh, I actually first met him in 2008, actually, and it was random. You know, we almost got jumped by some niggas in Gville. So we was coming from Bishop, the other Bishop crib. We was battling them, and we noticed a dude that was trying to jump us, but we was like, man, let this bus come because there was this one specific dude that was kind of creeping up on us that was trying to poke us. Me, Mirage, Ace the Beast, and some other dude. I forgot his name. And we got on the bus, and that's when I bumped in RP. He's like, "Hey," that little fun personality that he has, man. And we was telling him, like, when you gonna make us a personal track? He's like, "What's your group name?" It's like Final Epic. He's like, "That's a unique name. I think I might work on that." And then I think I don't remember when we serviced. Maybe it was like 2011, 2012, and then we started having conversations on the phone, and we just clicked since, man. And
oh,
he's been a great mentor to me. So
cool.
yeah.
We got this other question is from Josh. He said, how did the development of the footwork evolution reflect the pain in the city? And how did the footwork heal the city?
Whew. Like I said, man, it the same way like how I told my expression with that track of preventing me to kill myself. It's just that. It's just, whatever you're feeling, you get it out through dancing and let it be your stress reliever. No matter what you're going through. If you lost a loved one, you lost, your friends, your family, you got a breakup, you got in a major dispute, you dealt with a domestic violence, like you gotta let that you find a way to let footwork and trigger that as an outlet to something brighter on the other side, you know.
Hmm. And
And
I was about to say, also, this also is from Josh too. Do you believe that the coming up generation has a message to bring, or are they just doing moves with no soul?
like I said, man, it takes time for them. I think it's both. But reason why I say both is they do have a message, they just don't know how to bring it out. That's why it looks like they don't have no soul when they dance. So they're trying to tell that message. They just don't know how to tell it. It's the same way, like I said earlier, everybody has an upbringing. And you don't know what it is. You know, you're just in the culture for a certain amount of years. Like you say, like you're just trying to either find yourself or create yourself. Either way. And you know, and once that gets across, then it's like I think we know what that message is. Just the same way, like when I came in, and now I'm very well respected, but at the time I didn't know why, you know. Like the people, it's like the people knew my message, even though I didn't know what my message was, you know. So the people knew what my message was, man. It was all about, you know, genuine love, and show them like genuine respect for whoever I come across. Because, you know, if you give me respect, I'll give you respect. And that's that, you know. That's my best way of explaining it, you know.
That was a dope explanation. Here, this from Skimmy. Do crews usually take a spot and make it their own training spot, or do they usually train at random places?
Wait a minute, say that question again.
That's a good question. Do crews usually take a spot and make it their own training spot, or do they usually train at random places?
Actually, they did both. They did both, because sometimes they practice at one basement, then they practice at another basement, then they go to like a little abandoned building where they rent it out for a couple of months, then they go right back to their roots and into someone else's basement, then they go to someone's back porch. I mean, yeah. wherever we could find a practice at, that's where we practice at. And I've seen that from Jerron's footage, TS footage, myself when I was coming up. Like wherever there's footwork, we was there. We didn't care. Like we just want to find somewhere to express ourselves.
If you can walk there, you can dance there.
Yep. If you can walk there, you can dance there. You know? And
shout out to walkers.
You know, like for an example, like you know, like me doing lab sessions at my crib, you know, it's in my basement out west, and you know, those that want to come, feel free to come. If you got the wheels, bring the wheels. If you can walk and ain't that far, walk here. You know, if you need a lift, go ahead and lift there. You know, like wherever there's footwork, you're there. It's the hunger. The hunger is like, I want to dance. Like for an example, like I'm mad as hell that I'm gonna miss the Solo's album release party. I'm hungry for that one.
I'm gonna shed a tear for you on that one.
You better record that, bitch. I swear to God, you better record that, bitch. Oh my God, man.
Jordan is back.
Man, I don't want to go. God damn it. But yeah.
Speaking of tracks, the next question is from Josh. Says, besides the tempo, 160 beats per minute, what makes a Chicago footwork track a Chicago footwork track?
Ooh, that's a good one. God, man, they give me some good questions there, boy. Okay, so I didn't too much talk about my track side of things, but from my understanding, this is why I don't too much make tracks at 160 no more. I make tracks now at 155 because people have been misconstruing, thinking that if it's 160 is a footwork track. That's false. Footwork tracks could be as low as 145 BPM, truth be told. And what makes it a footwork track? It's simple. You know, it's just the bass, the hats, just that run shit vibe. But you know, at the end of the day, it's all house. Now, I don't mean I'm not gonna say no names, but a little itty bitty bird put me on game. Like if you slow the BPM down from 160 to 145, you'll hear that ghetto house tempo. And then all we did was just speed it up, and it's like it's a footwork track. But it's like, bro, it's all house. It's all ghetto house. You know, it's all that same feel. Because, like I said, that's why track Rashad and Manny made that this is our house, because if we're letting the house heads and the house throughout the whole world, like, bro, footwork is house.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little, but there's always a 4-on-4 in a footwork track. Even if it's triplets, it's still that 4-on-4 flow. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
We just tweaked it. That's the difference. But it's still that 4-on-4. So you can catch the beat on the track, on a footwork track. Even if it's straight triplets, you can still catch the track. Because even if you hear that triplet, there's still that 4-on-4. It's like I said, we just tweaked it out. You know.
So next question from Mickey. When are you gonna come back to Japan?
Oh, Mickey-san!
Mickey-san.
Oh man, arigato, because I'm outside. Oh, I miss y'all. Mickey, I truly miss y'all. I really do. I want to come back so bad. I love battling y'all. Oh, if y'all haven't seen, I just posted my first international footage of us versus of me, Lot, Takuya-san, Psycho versus Creation Japan. And when I say, like I was like, I was not playing no games though, because I was just like, man, we ain't battling the typical people no more. We battling foreigners in their soil. The
Man,
same way.
And how long ago that was? You ain't put that
That's
picture.
that's crazy.
That footage is from 2018.
Exactly. What you holding? Man?
Hey,
It's been up. I just posted it not too long ago.
I gotta look at it.
Fire. I saw when you came at the studio with it.
Man,
When
look.
he first came back.
Man,
That's
look.
fire.
I was not playing with them. I was like, look, I think I don't wanna be the I think
Just check it out.
I think there was intimidation on their end, because it's like they're seeing different footworkers now. It's like, no, this ain't Budilla and Jerron, your typical people. Like, you're dealing with a new different style of footworkers. So it's like, this is a whole different people. Like, we're not from creation, we're not from habit, we're not from. It's like, now you're seeing a different style now of how we footwork and all that. So, well, all in all, that was the greatest battle ever, man. I had so much fun, man. Mickey was such a great supportive person, man. Takuya was such a great tourist, man. He took good care of me and Locke when we came in, man. Like, that was the most greatest experience ever. I did not want to fucking leave. I swear to God, I did not want to go. I wanted to stay. I was almost about, man, fuck Chicago. I'm staying here. Dr. K.
Oh.
Dr. K.
Oh wait, hold on.
But I must say this before you, huh?
I love you, close son.
Let's make
Respect.
I love you too, kid. Satoshi.
Wait, I think we got a few more.
I got one more. Questions. I want to say this though. What made me go to Japan? It was you, Jerron. When you went to Japan and you went live, I was like, I gotta go. Thanks to you, I was like, I'm going. I'm gonna save up. I'm flying out there. I don't give a damn about an opportunity. I'm gonna make an opportunity. And that I made my own opportunity. And the best part was when I told Locke I was going, he's like, bro, I'm coming too. I was like, okay, cross Locke, be out there. So
hey, that's what it, and that's the whole point what it was for, to inspire and motivate others to do the exact same thing. It's like a yarn.
Man, and I'll never forget that, man. I think Mickey, I think each and every one of y'all, April, every one of y'all, man, I thank y'all for that great experience, man. Like y'all taught me a lot. And that's why I have a different perspectives now on the footwork culture till this day, just off that trip alone. So
So wait, all right. So hold on. All right, we'll cut. I know we got a few. I know, man. They good. They throwing some questions at you, Cole.
hey man, I'm ready to hear him, G.
Okay, wait. Let me show some love to Facebook real fast. This from Ken Low Key. He said, "Who's your top 5 favorite footworkers not from the United States?"
Ooh, ooh,
Well,
ooh,
my fault. Not from Chicago. So, who are your top
ooh.
5 favorite footworkers who are not from Chicago?
Oh man. Okay.
Oh wait, dang. Actually, he said both. One was top 5 footworkers not from the United States, and top 5 footworkers who are not from Chicago.
Okay, so
You
top
might go
10.
get this one.
So
Yeah,
half Chicago, okay.
yeah.
Finn from Creation. He's so fucking cold. I'm sorry. Finn is so goddamn cold. That boy cold.
One of my faves in the new
Oh
generation.
my god, that boy is so cold. I gotta put him up.
Definitely.
Now I gotta put Mickey from Creation too. She's my favorite. And the reason why I love Mickey is the fact that she's finding her character. So, and you know how people say that, oh, she another kid. I'm like, no. She may have learned from them, but she's finding her own character. And I see that, like, she's being Mickey. She just got the crazy move, but I see Mickey. Same with Finn. Finn is a very unique style footworker too. That's why I love them too. Like I love both of y'all. Y'all is so cold to me. Another, I gotta say, my boy Takuya son. My boy Takuya son. Woo! That's my boy. That is my boy. Man, I love his drive. I love his hunger. I love his hunger. He, man, everything that he'll soak that shit like, and he'll just catch it off one take. I'm like, I just dropped up like, damn man, this boy just soaks shit up and just he mastered it off one take. I'm like, I like that hunger in him. Another favorite, Yamato from Creation.
Ooh.
He a nice one. He's nice. You know, he's very clean. I really like that about him. And man, can I add 2 more, man, for overseas? Because it's 2. Because I want to say Wheezy from the era and Utah from Creation as well too. So that's as far as overseas, that's not for. Oh well, there's so many, man. I got too many favorites from overseas. See?
Hey, well, that's it right there.
I believe it there. Now for Chicago, I'm gonna ride for my underdogs, man. I'm not ready for the big names like that because I already know the big names y'all already mastered. So I see it too. My favorite right now, I love Breezy because I'm stiff. So he represents for the stiff people. So I love Breezy, man. I love how he took his stiffness to his advantage and made his own. My other favorite, Mouse. Mouse is a Mouse, man. So clean, so technical, man, and just he used that to his advantage. Believe it or not, my other favorite footworker, Lupe. I love Lupe. Lupe from TOG, man. And he always I love how that nigga spaz out. When he spaz out, I be like, fuck is wrong with this boy? I love how that man spaz out. Like he always just always make me jump off my seat. Another person I'm sorry, I'm not trying to dick ride Temple was going. It's going to forever be my favorite. For PX. For the simple fact, man, y'all don't know Temple like I do. I swear to God, y'all don't, because the fact, just off the fact that he's still always been who he was since the beginning, since I first met him, and that he always been such a creative person when it came to footwork, and everything just comes off the top of his dome. And I like to thank creation for just molding him, just making him more cleaner. Because man, he's just been on a mission. I'm so proud of him too, because he on a lane of his own, like self-promoting himself, making beats. Like half the tracks I've made is really a remix of his beats, and his self-promotion of showing off of him dancing, it got him to France. I'm like, bro, I'm so happy for you, man. I'm so proud of you, man. And it's like, you came from the dirt just like me, man, and you paved the way in your own way. Like I love his individualism.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's how we all came up. Like we all came up as individual people, just wanting to make an impact and learning to respect not only those that's on top, but also respect those on the bottom. Like this is how we was brought up. Even though we ain't had no teachers, we just had each other. So I'm just blessed that we molded that in him, and that it molded us as well too. And I'm just so proud of him, man. And my other favorite, last one. I'm gonna give two more, and it's gonna be Sub-Zero and Top the Block from Below Zero, man. I just love their style, bro. Like I said, I like uniqueness, bro. Like something that can never be duplicated. Like I can't even hit that shit. The shit that Sub-Zero talk, like, bro, I can't hit that shit. But, like I like, man, I can't hit that shit. Even if he thought like I can't hit that shit, man. Like y'all, it's like they live by that name. Below Zero, they unique, no equals, and it's like can't no footworker duplicate that shit. I don't know any other food that can duplicate that shit. Number one fact, man. So shout out to Sub-Zero and Top the Block, man. I wish Top the Block was back dancing, but y'all was a problem.
Shout out to Below Zero.
Below Zero.
If you can, I'm sorry I couldn't get everybody. We couldn't get everybody's question. Due to time, we'll talk forever. But give them your social media outlets, Cross.
So feel free to hit me up on Facebook, Isaac Harris, which is matter of fact, let me type it to make this easier. So okay. Facebook. This is my Facebook, and then you can also catch me on Instagram, which is so y'all can catch me mainly on those two platforms. I have a Twitter, but I don't really too much care for that. But mostly catch me on those two platforms, and then of course catch me on YouTube whenever I post videos, which is the Don 312. So THE the Don 312, and you can also catch me on SoundCloud. I'll type that for y'all for those that want to hear my tracks. So
yeah, definitely check out some of them battles on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Crossfire got classic that probably would have never been saw again if it wasn't for him recording.
Mm-hmm. Man. And it's timeless, man. Like it
when
is
we gonna
timeless.
get a Crossfire LP.
Oh yeah.
Phil, the world may never know. Like I'm the type of guy, like I don't tell people my moves until it is until it's official. So when you know, you know. So
Also,
We waiting.
track attack.
so I've been doing an event which is thanks to Boo Dylan and Jerron for being an inspiration. And also I want to give a thanks to Versus for making this happen as well too. That's been an inspiration. I've been doing this event called Track Attack. Track Attack is technically like Versus, but it's the same way with it's in a footwork format. So what that is we go head to head and let our tracks tell our stories of where it comes from, what made us want to make the track, or how did it come about. But we're also celebrating greatness. We're also celebrating our accomplishments throughout the years of making these tracks for y'all beloved people and such around the world, and also in the full community that's been rocking with these tracks. Or like right now, like March 21st, those that want to tune in will be another installment of Track Attacks, which will be myself versus my partner, Crime K Lock. So y'all don't want to miss that one. That's gonna be a decent one. That's gonna be something decent because fun fact, it was Lock that taught me how to make tracks. So and I've been on a mission ever since.
Right.
Do the first teacher.
So we most definitely want to appreciate you. Thank you for being on the show tonight. You know what I'm saying? Expressing those jewels. You know what I mean? We really needed those, especially for the new generation of Chicago footwork, the culture. You know what I'm saying? I told you before you one of the pillars to Chicago footwork, and I meant that. There's a lot of people that's looking up to you. I told you that before too. Not just Chicago, but the world. You know what I'm saying? And this is a prime example. This is a prime example of that. You know what I'm saying? You got people that look forward to seeing you on social media and making sure that you're okay. And you know what I'm saying? Like, the people that you still work, you was like you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But you seeing it. You know what I mean? You seeing it, you hearing it. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Much respect. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to must definitely give you your flowers, man.
Man,
While you active.
I want to give my flowers to y'all, man. Like I'm so proud of each and every one of y'all, man. I'm just proud of all the work y'all been doing, man, and just me just watching y'all just being your own way of inspiration, man. That's just that gets me motivated sometimes to make something happen, man. And like I always told you, and I always tell Jerron, I'll tell everybody, man, no matter what y'all do in this culture, man, just remember one thing, man. Stay consistent, stay active, man, because consistency is key, man. And when you stay consistent in this culture, it's going to get you far. And don't worry about wanting it now. It's like, bro, it's going to take time. It don't happen overnight. Success don't happen overnight, man. So just be grateful that, hey, it may not be much, but it's a start, man. Same for whatever y'all do, including y'all cats overseas, man. Whatever y'all got going on, man, keep that shit consistent, man. Keep the world inspired, man. Make the world dance and such. You know, track makers, same thing, man. I don't give a fuck if you a newbie. But also learn the game and work from the dirt, man. Cause like I said, I'm from the dirt, and anybody that teaches me the game with so many words, I listen humblingly because I just want to soak that info. And to all overseas guys, feel free to inbox me after I add you. Like, y'all can ask me anything after this interview's over. Like, I love talking to people that's so curious about the culture and hearing my perspective. So feel free to ask me anything. I'm not that Hollywood nigga or whatever y'all want to call it. Like, I'm just a very humble person that just likes to help people out the best way I can, and y'all just apply for yourself.
Right. Get in
tune. Definitely get in tune with bro.
Please get in tune with Crossfire for real, for real. Yeah, good brother. You know what I mean? Like, we be having some dope conversations, you know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all get in tune with stay in tune with bro. J-Ron, you got anything you wanna let us off?
Shoot. Project Bust Down 4. Album DJ Solo. Album release party March 28th for those in Chicago. I'm gonna be definitely putting a flyer again, and then the
I
album.
am.
I know, Cross. I'm gonna share a tip for you. I already know.
Why? I want to go, damn it.
The album gonna be, for those overseas. The album definitely gonna be online for those who get it and stuff like that. Definitely fire. Like that's all I'm gonna say. It's just Jordan finally back. That's all. Other than that, doing privates, of course, for those that may need trying to get to the next level. And once again, just like our brother Cross said, it's about building that character, and it's more than just steps. So yeah, if you're trying to get past just doing steps and doing some as far as connecting footwork with your life and creating your own style, that's what my private's about.
Thanks. What do I want to? CFology Music Edition. April 10th, 11th. Please tap in with Mickey or Kelly for more information about that. 3 master classes, 2 hours each, and an international beat battle. The cost of the entire camp is $50. The drop-in rate is $20. Like I said, most definitely go and support the CFology Music Edition camp. I'm just open for privates now. I still got my classes on Thursday nights. If you want to do a private, just inbox me on Facebook or Instagram. What else? Oh, Keys, DJ Keys, his EP is out, right? It's
Yo, Trash Volume 5.
Out now. So
Fire.
Yeah, listen, when I say
it was just at that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If y'all saw them clips I posted on Facebook of us like freestyling, that's off the album.
If only that event was on a damn Saturday. I swear to God. I would have been.
Please go listen to the tracks. I guarantee you're gonna go crazy.
All flame.
For real. So go and pick that up. So yeah, on another note, this is another great interview episode.
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to I want to give a shout out to John's Corner Store, for Ken Low Key clothing line, and also for Larry Hot, you know what I'm saying, for the Purpose and Prosper, what Budilla got on.
Facts. We gotta support our own. We gotta support each other. You know what I'm saying?
Both clothing lines from 2 legendary footworkers. So big salute.
Yeah, most definitely, man. But like I said, it was a great interview. And I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. You know what I mean? And I will see you guys next week, same time, same
place, and such.
Peace, y'all.
Hungry ass.
I actually ate already. Wow.
Get that fruit, boy.
All right, y'all.
All right, man.